Welcome to the Here I Am talk show with host Jamie Willis, where we discuss today's truths, people's stories, testimonies, healings, miracles, and so much more. Let's get started, honey. Hi, and welcome to the Here I Am show. Today we have such a special guest. She is the owner and producer of the Wave Watch. And you're like, okay, it looks like something maybe from outer space, or it also looks like, one of those huge iPhones. But I wanted to be able to get on here because I've been using this Wave Watch for probably about 7 months. And through our platform with True Talk America, and what our shows are about, it's about healing and truth and frequencies and things to be able to heal ourselves, and without having to go with pharmacia and pharmaceutical products. This is such an amazing watch. And at the end of the show, I do have a promo code that you can be able to order this watch. I do not on my platform promote a lot of things that I'm trying to sell, because on my platform, I want to be able to help people, and I just don't want anybody to be taken advantage of. All the proceeds goes towards the watch, and then when we get Linda on here, she'll be able to explain exactly what the watch does and what the frequencies are. It does so much, it can pretty much blow your mind. So I just wanted to bring Linda Bamber on. Hi, Linda.
Hello there. Thank you for having me
I'm
this
so glad
morning.
to be able to have you on here.
We've been talking back and forth, and now we finally get to
I know. We finally get to see each other.
Yep.
That's one thing with this platform, that everybody's in different states and even in different countries, that we really don't get to see people face to face like we normally could. But everybody's working from home. A lot of people are working from home now, but it's just so nice to be able to see your face.
You too.
And I am such a huge fan of this watch. I had no idea about frequency and about healing, and then how really the body works. It's so intricate of how God created every single thing in our system and how it works. And I was so excited to be able to have you on here to be able to explain, because there's still things that I'm learning from the watch. And then what really got me involved in this is, knowing that your faith, that we know that it's coming from a source from God, and how we're able to be able to have healing power through him and through this frequency to be able to help.
That's how I see it. Everything is provided for us. We just have to reach out and accept what he provides.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Linda, how did you get started on this?
Well, about 13 years ago, I just had something downloaded to me, I guess you'd say. I just, thought of something. I was already working in the energy field, and I had a computer system that basically would check around 50,000 frequencies for people. And it was just amazing to me, all the things that you could do with it. And, my idea was, well, why are we having to pay $18,000 for these systems and be professionals when everybody could use frequencies? So my idea was to put these frequencies on a watch, so on something that you can wear. And so I did have, some patent type drawings done. And as I see the date on them, I'm kind of excited to say that was even before the Apple Watch. So I had the idea, but the technology wasn't there. So I had to kind of wait a little bit. And then my boys grew, two sons grew up, and they are musicians, very involved with music at the church. One son travels in Europe with his wife, who actually started their Chasing Summer is a group, and they travel. It's been their 20th year traveling in Europe doing Christian music in different places. And my other son has been a song leader in his church for about 15 years. So their musical abilities, even though I played drums in my, for a long time, I didn't consider that musical for what I needed. And they gave me a couple of ideas, and it just popped. And so I started working more and more and got it developed about 2.5 years ago.
So it's been 2.5 years ago?
Yes, that I finally got it on the market.
Who helped you to be able to market this?
Well, it's just me for those last 2.5 years. But just recently, I was able to hire both of my sons full time, and they came on board. And now it's really amazing, So that was totally God's presence, because I would never have conceived that my sons would be able to quit their jobs, or change jobs and start working for this particular business. And they're both highly qualified. So, there's nothing better than I can say than that. So one is in Tennessee, in a county where he's actually qualified to work with starting new businesses. That's what his job was in the county. And so, gosh, that fits right in. And my other son was a teacher at Lipscomb College, and he taught business entrepreneurship. So do I have somebody qualified to help me build my business now? That's a resounding yes. So, and I do want to tell you,
Tennessee now. I've lived in Tennessee for about 30 years now. So hopefully when you come and visit your son, that
we'll have to catch up.
Yes.
So I have a little bit more story if it works it time-wise. I don't want to take up too much time, but I was actually born deaf in one ear, completely deaf in one ear. And so they didn't discover this till I was about third grade. And so that was a really, I think that was probably the start of what gave me ideas, because how could I not let people know that I was deaf? I evidently learned to read lips. I learned to look at their faces. I learned to watch and to hone in. And if somebody was speaking to me, I had to turn around, and then I had to absorb their energy, really. And they did say that I kind of would touch people a lot, and those are the exact things that I used on the Wave Watch. You have to, hone in, you have to have the right frequency, and you have to absorb energy. So I thought that was kind of a fun idea also. So,
as with the frequency, has it helped with your hearing?
Well, I am missing a part. And so miracles do happen, but nothing's happened so far. Things can change. But I am so pleased to tell you that I've had 7 people take off their hearing aids.
That is absolutely amazing.
People with that so far. And those are the ones that have just talked to me personally. And I cry every time.
Yeah.
So.
And, there's been testimonies, because you're on the Michelle Moore show quite a bit. And that's how I got introduced to the watch, because Michelle and I are really good friends. And so she's helped me with this platform too, which is hers.
Oh, wow. And so that'll be neat. I'll get to see you and Michelle when I come to Nashville next time.
Yes, absolutely. And I can't wait. And what is the first thing with the watch that people should use it? Is there one frequency that's on the watch that is used more than others?
Well, there is a frequency that I put together that's called inflammation, pain, and trauma. And to me, that is the best frequency to use, to start with. And so I do have directions. I have a 20-page booklet, and that tells you that that's, the overall arching frequency, because inflammation is the big, keyword now in our medical community, inflammation. And then we're all traumatized for so many different things, and then pain, obviously. So that's an overall good frequency to use. But as you'll hear in a minute or see in a minute, I have 1,000 different frequencies. So what I tried to do when I developed this tool was to make sure that you wouldn't have to be buying 50 different tools, frequency tools. And that is starting to appear. There are now different types of tools that do use different kinds of frequencies. And they might have, there's one for mosquitoes. So you can buy some kind of a little wristband for mosquito. And it's got one frequency to scare off mosquitoes when you're outside. And the Wave Watch has that plus 999 other frequencies. There's another one that is bands that you wear, and you have to wear one on each hand. And basically, those are $149 a piece. And that is just for calming. And then another set could be purchased for sleep. Well, I have those ideas on the Wave Watch plus 999 others, So you do want to really make sure that you're getting something that does a variety of things. And I think that is very important. And that's what I've tried to do, is make the Wave Watch cover so many ideas so that families and friends and kids and seniors and everybody can use it. Even your pets can use the Wave Watch. So that was just a few of my ideas to get it started.
Yeah. And then what I'll do is, like, if my dog is being like extremely hyper, usually at the end of the day, and I'll put it on calm, and my dog loves to lay right near me, and it'll calm her down within about 5 or 10 minutes.
That's what everybody says, that their pets just come right up to it. And I had a fantastic one. I've got a picture of it, actually, not today, but somebody sent me a picture of their duck that was sick with a bacterial infection. They put a washcloth over the Wave Watch, and then they have a picture of the duck laying its head, on the Wave Watch. And then they said that they were evidently in the chicken coop, and the chickens just kind of made a semicircle around them and just stood there like they had never done before, and just kind of nodded their heads a little bit. So lots of different ideas.
It is.
Everything uses frequencies. Everything has a frequency. So that's what we're heading into, is a new healing modality with frequencies.
Yeah. And, probably off topic, but it's a little bit, when in your video, you're also describing this, it's almost like having a med bed.
That's how I do like to say that,
yes.
Because they always say med beds are frequencies. So
because the med bed will be all frequencies. But until then, I use it on inflammation a lot, especially when I'm traveling, because I have a tendency to swell up like a balloon, even just sitting in the car for like 2 or 3 hours. And then during the time that I'm on vacation, I'm all swollen.
Oh, wow.
And the swelling will not go down until I come back home. So I started putting on the inflammation, and I have no swelling. I might have a little bit, just, soreness and tenderness from just sitting, in one position for such a long time. But it helps out about 95%.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Which is it's amazing. And I should have had it. I didn't have it that time. I went to Israel in February this year, and I didn't have my watch yet. And oh man, I wish I had it then.
Wow.
Because the whole time I was in Israel, the inflammation actually made me gain about 5 to 7 pounds.
Wow.
And it hurt.
Not everybody has a testimony. I can't say that, but there are statistics. Jonathan Goldman has written a book, Seven Secrets of Sound Healing. And basically, he says at least 70% of people should have an effect with frequencies, and I think some of my testimonies are more than that, but everybody has something different. And I probably have about 500 different ideas or frequencies that I do have testimonies on out of the 1,000. So it's really kind of interesting that we are seeing that frequencies can change lives.
Yes. And then I'm going to be having you on here, actually quite a bit, if you don't mind,
Oh,
Linda.
love to. I'm a talker.
And I am too. I am too. And because there's so much to know about this. And, as with my show, it's all about healing and restoration, and for people to be able to get off some of this medication that they're on, because they're taking one medication to, for another medication because they're having side effects. And then here, everything, I'm not saying that everything on here is perfect, but it does help. And it does help, with your bloodstream. It helps with the clarity of your mind. And also, I do have it on now because I do have a problem with ringing in my ears. And it's been a constant thing for the past, oh man, I can't remember when I didn't have it. So I
Wow.
just started putting that on there. So I'm
See if
hoping
we have a
to
difference.
have a
Yeah.
testimony. Can you give me any of how long? Well, you just don't know because each
I
person's
don't
different.
know. And I've had some people have their ringing in their ears, their tinnitus go away in 30 minutes, and then the next person, it didn't have an effect on. So tinnitus is kind of a hard one,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
work with. So probably
Hopefully,
one of the best ones
I have
is
you on
kidney
the next
stones.
time.
If you're
But
interested, one of the strongest ones is kidney stones. I've had at least 20 testimonies of people in about 30 minutes. They said their pain was gone. Their, um, urine sample was full of flack in 30 minutes. And it
yeah,
had all kinds of stones or little tiny, salt and pepper flakes and different things like that to let them know that something had really been broken up in just a short time period.
that's amazing. I think Michelle winds up using it. Well, she hasn't had kidney stones in a while, but I know that she suffered from it for quite a while.
Hmm.
And to be able to hear that, because there's so many people that do get kidney stones. And
Yes. And so painful. And then if you go to the hospital, I've had two people tell me that their bill was $40,000, and
wow,
it didn't even break, they didn't even get the kidney stones broken up, so you just never know. But it's good to have a tool on hand that has some possibilities for sure. So
well, I know that you had a little presentation to be able to show us today. And then, once you're done with the presentations, we'll just go ahead and still,
okay,
a
I
few
just want
more
to share
questions
just a
for you.
few more. I'll share a few more ideas with you.
Okay.
See how
All
we're
right.
at. All right. So I wanted to give you a little bit of information today about just joints. And this is going to be just a few frequencies out of the total 1,000 frequencies. So just one category is all we're talking about. And basically, we've already talked about how the Wave Watch is an acoustical sound watch. We may not have given you as much information yet, but I just want to reiterate that these are acoustical sounds. So it's just like somebody singing or talking to you. This is in the range of 20 to 20,000 hertz. And that's all we're talking about. So this should be a tool that should not bother people. It should be very accepted by your body. Obviously, we hear things all day long, but I still get a lot of questions from people who are asking and saying, hey, I know somebody with a pacemaker. Would the watch be okay for them? And it's a resounding yes, because I haven't found anybody with a pacemaker yet that has been told that they have to wear something on their ears and they cannot hear anybody speak or any songs on the radio or any sounds at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. These are acoustical sounds and they are safe. But do you know what they do need to be careful of if they have a pacemaker is standing in front of the microwave oven. Those are the frequencies that are bad for them. But acoustical frequencies are safe. So we do have a code for Here I Am 100. If you're interested, you could get a $100 discount if you go to the website wavewatch.com and are interested and do order a Wave Watch. And that's good. I don't think I have a cutoff date on that, I guess.
Oh, thank you so much for allowing me to have this product on my show. Michelle and I are very, very careful and in who we bring on into the platform because there's so many other products that are out there. And I just wound up getting a testimony from one of these others that, said it was like sort of a frequency um, watch. It was, actually bigger. And we found out through the company that she only had like 5 or 6 frequencies on it. And it was nothing but a fraud. And it cost them, I think it was like $1,800.
Oh my goodness.
It was $1,800 for you to get this frequency. And it looked like, it almost was like a shape of a phone. And you're
Wow.
supposed to just carry it around you and just have it, like a couple inches in front of you. And a friend of mine, she had one, and she found out, that this company was nothing but a fraud, and it took her about 3 to 4 weeks for her to get her money back.
Goodness. I'm not saying that, my company's perfect. We're a growing company and we've had a
Yeah.
huge growing spurt, but we definitely have the 1,000 frequencies. We have hired a new staff, an added staff for customer care. And so you're being taken care of and we're doing our best, and just let us know. But we do work with a product that I developed that I have a patent pending technology on. And basically you're seeing a picture of it. And there literally are thousands of frequencies on the watch, because what I tell you is that I have 1,000 sets. You have 1,000 ideas to pick from, but they are there are actually about 30 frequencies in a lot of those ideas behind the scene. So when you're, my multiplication, as far as I could tell, I had about 24,000 frequencies on this watch. So you have a little mini computer, on your wrist, and it's doing and making its frequencies right there for you. There is no internet connectivity. And this is another thing that I want to really stress and point out to you, is that we're starting to see many problems with internet, with people wearing around different tools, or our some of our watches. And I don't know if I want to, name names or not, but these watches do have internet connectivity, and they do not work well with your body. These are different frequencies. So one example that I always tell is I had a lady come into my business, and I haven't even told you about that business yet. But anyway, I specialize in breast health. I work with women who are having breast concerns or want to make sure that they have good breast health. And anyway, this lady had worn her cell phone in her bra, and she had 3 kinds of breast cancer underneath the outline of the cell phone. I had another lady who was wearing her cell phone in her pocket, and she had to carry it for work, but she was wearing it in her front pocket. And within just a 3 to 6 month time period, she developed a huge ovarian cyst that had to be removed right underneath that cell phone. And then the third one, and I think probably the worst one, is an elderly lady that was, over 80, that had a life alert for when she, was in her senior care system. And she was a little bit crippled, and so she leaned all the time. And so her life alert hung right over her breast. And again, within 6 months, maybe to a year on this lady, she developed breast cancer exactly under that life alert. So when I say no internet connectivity, this is starting to be more and more important. I mean, they have actually trained doctors anticipating 1,000% increase in brain cancer. And what do you think we do? We put the phone right up to our ear all the time. So they know this, and they are concerned about it and just adding doctors rather than warning us about something else to do. And then another idea would be that we need to make sure that our internet connectivity is not right next to our head when we go to sleep at night. I can't tell you the number of people that put their phone, right on their nightstand, less than a foot away from their head all night long. So that's just as bad as putting it up to, your head all day long also. And if you do it both times, then you could be causing yourself some health problems. So another thing that's really important is that there's no cords or wires or patches. And some tools have that. There is one that is for just menstrual cramps, but it is some kind of a tool that you put, you stick things on your ovaries, and then you actually have to have cords that you wind around, and you put a little hook on your back pant pocket, but it's supposed to help with your menstrual cycle. Well, don't forget, the Wave Watch has that frequency plus 999 other frequencies without any cords or wires or patches. So that helps to make it cost effective, and it's easy to change and update as variants occur. So if we have any new ideas that come along, or possibly mutations, those kind of things, there are ways that we can get this updated for you and change very easily. And that's a lot easier than waiting on a vaccine to be developed or XYZ prescription to be changed. We can measure a new frequency. So I think that's kind of exciting as we talk about medicine of the future and using tools for our health. And then the last thing I've already mentioned is that it's useful for all ages. So I hope you see the Wave Watch on this poor little dog here. And then we have veterans and their wives, of course, and vice versa, and children of all ages that use the Wave Watch. So this young man, I love his eyelashes. His mother had the Wave Watch, and she started sharing it with him. And pretty soon it was just his Wave Watch, And I hear that quite a bit. A couple might decide to share one, and then after a while, both of them decide that they need their own. But you can start out that way. And I have a fun story about that. I have a gentleman who called and said that he had bought the Wave Watch for his wife with Parkinson's. And then you could tell that he got a little bit embarrassed. He cleared his throat and he was trying to figure out what to say. And then he just blurted out and he said, "We sleep really close together." And then he blurted out one more time, and I could feel her frequencies when she had the watch on. Wow. And then he continues and he said, "I got up the next morning and my feet didn't hurt." And, I'm going, "Oh, that's really neat," And he goes, "No, you don't really understand. They've hurt for 15 years and I've been on medications for 15 years. So within 2 weeks, he was off his medications, and he shared a Wave Watch with his wife when they hugged and snuggled. Isn't that fun?
That is awesome. And my brother suffers from gout in his legs and in his feet. Is there a frequency for that?
There is. And I think I even have some information about it in just a few slides. Yeah. So
okay.
We'll talk about that, Jared,
that's
a little
awesome.
bit more. Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what you'll get if you are interested in this product. And it does have a leather type wristband with it, which some people like. And then we have a Velcro one, which some people like. So you've got some choices there. And if you still don't like either of those, you can actually buy a replacement wristband. And I've got the size that you should select in the hand booklet information. And I hope you can see right here that there's just a little film covering to protect it during shipping. And you're going to peel that off and put on the new and the much heavier screen protector when you get it. Sorry about that. Then you'll also have your charging brick and your cord, and then a carrying case for that. So those all come with you when you order the product, plus a 24-page booklet with all the frequencies in it and information about those ideas. So we may have covered this just a little bit, but each frequency is like a song. You know, it is an acoustical frequency. And we all know the power of prayer and chanting and all of those things that ancient cultures did that we should have remembered this earlier. This is what I'm taking you back to. We are just using a little bit different technology to get it into your system, but it really is the power of your voice humming or chanting, singing to the Lord, however you would like to say it. That's what we're doing. Now, another thing that's so exciting to me about wave frequencies is the fact that they travel so fast through your body and they are absorbed 100%. So several sources will tell you that we have prescriptions that enter our body in the form of a chemical wave or a frequency. And they go through our body at a foot a second, really slow. And it's so slow. I mean, it doesn't sound slow, a foot a second, but it's so slow that your body burns up 98% of that chemical or prescription, or sometimes we even have to say supplements or foods, that kind of an idea. So your body will only absorb 2% of this. So that's why we need to take our medicines over and over and over again, because they are not completely absorbed. But a wave frequency is 100% absorbed because it travels faster than the speed of sound. Just think about it. Our bodies are 80% water, and so sound goes through water very, very fast. And many places are saying 4.3 times the speed of sound is what a wave frequency goes through your body at. And so I have very many testimonies about speed, which is kind of fun. But here's a few testimonies for joints. We're going to be talking a little bit more about joints, and maybe I'll come back to this because this is what I wanted to show you. So we have many frequencies, 1,000. I keep saying 1,000. So I'm showing you 26 frequencies that are life-changing. So number 15 on here, what do you see, Jamie?
Gout.
There you go. So these are all of the frequencies that I have connected with specific joints or neuropathy, which is a joint disease, arthritis, some things like that. So what you do is actually just find this setting on your watch. There are directions. And if you can't understand those, just hand your watch to a 10 or 12-year-old and they can touch a couple buttons and show you how to use it. Because that's exactly what my granddaughter and my grandson have done. I don't get to see them very often, but I was around them once and they just, yep, here it is. They have a lot better dexterity, but they're used to these types of tools also. So these are all the things that you could use for joints. So the watch also does give you the ability to run a frequency one time for a couple of hours, or as long as you want. You could run it all night long. Or you could loop all 26 ideas. If you are just in pain all the time, you could loop some of these and get your system cleaned out a little bit better. So several different ways to run every frequency. And that puts that back on you a little bit more. It's your self-care. And you're just remembering that this is acoustical frequencies. And so you can set those in different ways. And the watch does have a basic timer on it and a suggestion, and it will only play a frequency, a minimum of 8 minutes. Some of them will play a little bit longer, but minimal would be 8 minutes. So some of these you can play through quickly, and then others I have designated for 30-minute type frequencies. But you'll see that when you get those directions and have time to look at them. So I have so many testimonies. Here's a few. What do you think, Jamie? Should I read them, or you want to read them, or jump in and help me out here?
You can go ahead and read them.
All right. So I don't want to be too boring, but I just want to let you know it's just not me saying this. So Christine from Missouri is saying neck and shoulder pain gone. Feel more alert without the pain. Low back pain gone. Right shoulder, frozen shoulder injury 10 years ago, improved, but feel more time would be helpful. Sinuses are clear. Now, guess what? This is in a 30-minute time period. These are people who were coming into my office and doing some testing with me and working with my prototype. And they had 30 minutes. So I just kind of standardized it. You get 30 minutes, you know. So all these are 30-minute testimonies. But this one was saying, the second one, Sarah from Kansas, within 5 minutes, I could feel sinuses draining. Within 10 minutes, knees were tingling and cooling sensation like ice packs on my knees. Pain setting down and pain getting up. After treatment, no pain to sit and to stand.
Wow.
So a third one, this one we even have a video on, and I could give you a little bit more fun information on this one. She does say, I feel awesome. Neck and back feel 100% better. I have had neck pain for 36 years that is now gone. And the reason she knew is because that neck pain started when she was giving birth to her daughter 36 years ago. You know, you don't forget that. So her hips are looser. And she says, I can't wait to see how long it lasts. Would like to come back for more or wait for the watch. So obviously you can tell that that was my prototype idea. Now, another really fun thing about this testimony is that I set the watch for her for neck pain. And then I turned around to get my cell phone so that I could video her. And in the time it took for me to do that, and probably punch a couple buttons to set it on, video to record. Within that time slot, what, 5, 6, 10 seconds? When I turned around, she was turning her head back and forth, her neck back and forth, just like this. And I kind of gasped and I said, I thought you had problems with your neck. And she said, it's gone already.
Wow.
So that does kind of show you that wave frequencies can work very fast. I'm not saying they do every single time. It's not a miracle unless God, backs it up and provides that miracle for you. Yes. But that one was a fast one. So that was really exciting. The last one I have had back pain for many months. Back feels 90% better in just a few minutes. I'm looking forward to getting my wave watch. Thank you, Eugenia. So anyway, those are just a few ideas for joints. And I'm just letting you know that this is one of the neat things that is on the Wave Watch, along with many other frequencies. So the way that it works is the fact that there is a speaker on the back of the watch. And as that music, which sounds a little bit more like a bee buzz, but as that vibration sound comes through out of the speaker, it goes directly onto your wrist, and one cell will start to vibrate, the next and the next, and then it just zips through your body at 4.3 times the speed of sound. Now your bones really absorb vibrations and pass it on very, very quickly. So our bones and our skin absorb sound all the time, and we're feeling it. We don't just hear everything through our ear.
And you say to wear it on your left wrist?
Yes. Your left wrist, we tend to we've lost this information, as the centuries have gone by. But ancient people knew that we tended to absorb energy through our left hand, and then we shared it through our right hand. So that is just a tradition. People shake with their right hand, basically, because of that. They're sharing their energy. And we don't even really think about it. So lots of new ideas for the joints. And you had specifically asked about gout. Oh, I guess it's a couple wait, but I do have a testimony on knee pain also.
Okay, I'll turn it so people can hear it.
Limping when I walk some days, it feels real loose in there and popping and cracking. Dr. Bamber put a frequency on it, and I'm not limping, and I'm not feeling that looseness in there. I'm not feeling the pain. It was only on for 25 minutes, and I can't wait for it to come out on the wristband so I can use it more easily.
All right. So I hope you could hear that. Did that come through?
It did. It did.
All right. All right. There we go. So just a few stats here. This is possibly one of the reasons that the Wave Watch might be interesting to you or for different users is because so many of us have arthritis. So in, the stats from 2013 to 2015, when we're younger, below 44 years, 7.1% might have arthritis concerns. And then 45 to 60 some years old, we're up to almost a third of our population will have doctor diagnosed arthritis. And then, of course, when we're older than 65, like me, raise your hand, when we're older, up to almost 50% of us are going to have arthritis. So the Wave Watch can be and has been very helpful to people for their arthritis problems. So that is something that people say in itself is just worth the effort to learn to use the Wave Watch and to wear it. People are realizing that they could take ibuprofen, but now there's so many legal battles going on with all kinds of over-the-counter pain relievers. So maybe some of those things that we thought were safe for years are not as safe as we thought. There's some autism connection, and there's even some death problems that have been occurring from these over-the-counter pain relief. So that's starting to be very negative also. And then if you go on to the doctor and they prescribe medications, those have their own side effects. And then you can even go one step further, and sometimes surgery is suggested. So most people are looking around for something different to do than the medical community does provide. So one idea would be the Wave Watch, and you may have other ideas also, But that's why people are really enjoying using this, because it does kind of relieve them from some of their prescription possibilities. I teach a lot about the Wave Watch because there are so many ideas on it. And I do have a Wave Watch Frequency Fanatics, and that is on Facebook. And I see I didn't get that on there for some reason. So it's Facebook. And then you would look for Wave Watch Frequency Fanatics. And I have 70 some programs on specific ideas. So one idea would be on joints. We're kind of covering a few ideas about that today. But another idea might be strokes. Another one might be nerves, that kind of thing. So you can actually type in the individual topic that you might be interested in and see if I give you some specific ideas for that topic on using the Wave Watch. I also have videos on Rumble. I have videos on YouTube. And hey, I'm going to have another video with you today, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you'll be able to see them. Looks like I have another video on, this is Dupuytren's contractures. And if you've never seen these, the person's hand will not lay flat to the a surface. They're always just standing up. And you'll see that this is my prototype right here. And we're developing it. And then we got it to the final stage. But let's see if we can hear this also. Are we ready on this one?
We're ready.
When I started, this hand knocked its palm down to the table. This one has had surgery on the last heart today. Still go down the back. Feel the warmness in my arm here on this side. Relax. No more pain in my knuckle. We always have
How long have you had this?
This one has been going in probably the last 2-3 years. This one started probably 10 years ago. And I had surgery on this last December. This one was curled up like this. Could not open.
Wow. So basically, that just shows you another idea that sometimes people have trouble for years, and they have to make decisions. So hopefully, the Wave Watch could be a stand in until you make some other decisions, or maybe you won't need to make any more decisions. So, Jamie, I think I've kind of run down a little bit. I have lots more information, but it's just, educating you a little bit more about joint problems rather than talking about the watch overall. So I think we've covered, just a few ideas. If that works for you.
Yeah, you did such an excellent job. And then I was looking when you were showing the list of the frequencies on the watch. You have some really serious injuries for healing. Like I was looking at spinal cord injuries.
Mm-hmm. And I've had some testimonies on slip discs and things like that. Yes.
And that's really a lot of major problems. A lot of people are going to the chiropractors. A lot of people are going to the doctors because they're in so much pain because of their back, and had multiple surgeries on the back. It seems like I had both knee replacements.
Yes.
In the past 4 years. And what happened was, my left knee, I tore my ligament and it was bone on bone. And with me favoring, that leg, then the right leg, and then about a year later, I had to have another knee replacement.
Mm-hmm. And so we don't know that in the meantime, you couldn't have worn the Wave Watch and it might have given you some relief so that your other leg didn't get so stressed and have to have surgery also. You just don't know the scenario, and everybody's unique and different and that kind of thing. But there are possibilities that make, frequencies very useful in our lives. We just need to learn about them. And then another idea is bone regeneration. I've had several testimonies on people saying that something happened. One was more with the teeth, saying that they had had a cap taken off a tooth, and then they were to go back in about a month to have, the new fitted one put back on or, replaced. And they had the Wave Watch in that month time period. And when they went back, the dentist was honest enough to tell them, hey, you don't need this cap put back on. I don't know what happened, but everything's regrown and you're okay. Now, I still have a hard time with that one, but that is a written testimony that I do have somewhere, so it's like, okay. So we just really don't know what frequencies can do because we haven't allowed them to work in our life.
Mm-hmm. And do you think frequencies was used way back when?
I do. And I have pictures. In fact, can't get to them right now, but someone sent me the image of, a Sumerian, an ancient Sumerian, and it's a stone, picture. And the person seriously has a watch on. It's this big, but it is round. And it looks just like a watch. And when you look, I found about 12 different pictures of ancient people wearing something like this. And then the speculation was, well, they knew a lot more than we did. They could have been using that for frequencies. They could have been using it for, XYZ. But frequencies was one idea that they said, could have been used thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
Other than that, we do know humming and chanting and singing.
And, with singing, it goes way back before the biblical times.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And there is even a figure, in our time, there was a composer that had two women hum a specific tone. They did do it 3.5 hours a day for 3 months, but they had breast cancer. And he taught them to hum, I can't tell you the exact note, but at the end of the 3 months, one lady's breast cancer was completely gone, and the other one decided to have surgery. And the medical community was very confused at that surgery, and said that it was gone. It had dried up in a really unusual way that they had never seen. So that is written up. I do have, the exact source of that on some kind of a printout if anybody needs me to, provide that, because I can't cite the exact source from memory. But just the fact that music composers were able to figure out a note that somebody could hum. What did we do in the past? What are some, ideas that we missed? And they actually talk about churches, and I'll have to show you that on another time.
No,
I'll show
no,
you
that would be
churches and their frequencies.
That would be a great show, because I know that this isn't a new thing, but we were kept this as a secret.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that's why that I have so much fun sharing with you the idea that frequencies travel so fast, and that chemical frequencies travel slow, and they're only absorbed about 2%. Well, doesn't it make sense that that's why frequencies were made illegal in about the 1920s? There were quite a few tools that had been developed, and the AMA shut down all of those tools, confiscated them, wrecked the lives of people. And if you haven't heard about this is the story of Dr. Royal Rife, who was given the name, the father of frequencies, basically. And his tools were destroyed. He was hunted down, everybody that had them. It's a long story. But the short version of it is they didn't want us to know that frequencies could be quick healing. They could be useful healing, blah, blah, blah. They could be much cheaper, because that would allow them to sell something over and over and over again. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does, because it's, with the pharmaceutical industry, it's big money. It's huge money.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it's cost a lot of people's lives. It really has. That we think that they just need to take a pill to fix it. And this is just 100% natural healing. This watch cannot harm you. It is such an amazing. You hate to say product, because it's not. It's sound. It's natural. It's natural. What God gave us.
Yes, it is.
And to be able, for the Lord to be able to use you with something like this, it's amazing. And it's nothing by the power of the Holy Spirit.
That is so true.
To help you and listening, and for you being obedient, because, there's many, 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 many more testimonies that are going to happen with this watch. And as I said, I don't promote a lot of products. As I said, it's not a product. It's healing.
Thank you. And can I share a God story with you?
Go right ahead.
On this, maybe. As I was developing this, I did drive to Nashville, and I saw one of my sons and his wife, and we went to church together. And he introduced me to his pastor, and evidently he talked to the pastor about the project that I was working on. And the pastor says, well, when are you getting it patented? And I'm going, I didn't know I could, these are songs, And he goes, oh, no, you can get this patented. And then, if I'm quoting this correctly, he used to work at the patent office, or he had some connections to the patent office of some kind. And he said, oh, no, you can get a utility patent. Get busy on it, And so I did, it's still in process. But then the next person beside the pastor was standing there. And she says, I didn't mean to be eavesdropping, but she said, I heard something about a patent. And she said, I don't know if you need a patent lawyer, but my daughter-in-law, who lives in Kansas City, is a patent attorney. Do you want her card?
Only but God. I know. And that's the way that he works.
Mm-hmm.
And you were listening to his voice, and that's just amazing.
I thought that was a fun story. So
no, it is.
It's still in process. It's not there, but got started.
Yeah. So. And it was his perfect timing, because
that's exactly right.
We need this. We need this.
Yes. So I think people are starting to pay more attention to frequencies, and they're listening because of shows like yours, Jamie. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Linda. And as I said, I'm going to have you on quite often.
Love it.
Quite often.
Glad to be on.
Linda. Thank you so much. And then can you talk about, so you go to waywatch.com.
Yes. And then when you are ready to place an order, it will ask you, or it will show you a blank to put in your discount code. It will say discount code, and you just put in here I am 100, and you will get $100 off of that purchase.
Okay.
Is that what you were asking?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Linda. And I appreciate this.
All right. Thank you.
This was one of the things that I, was so excited to have you. You were on top of my list, the people that I wanted on my show.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Linda.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And it is such an amazing product. And if you have any questions, can you please email me, or you can also comment on this show, and then I can be able to give you some more information on the Weight Watch. So you go to waywatch.com, and then here I am in all caps 100, and you would get $100 off right away. Thank you so much, everybody, and hope you enjoyed the show today. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching the Here I Am show. For prayer requests, questions, or show information, email me at hereiamshow@gmail.com.